comfortable. Hey guys, thanks for popping in. Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and do this. It's like Mental Health Monday. If I can spell, and then that way everybody kind of knows what we're doing today. Okay, so hey, so we're just kind of start this off like I have the lights kind of dimmed low and just kind of really chill. I want to talk about what's bothering you guys, like what's on your mind as far as like life and how you guys are feeling. I know that this past week has been ridiculous for me. So I've had a lot of stressors going on. I just kind of wanted to talk and see how you guys are doing out there. But let's start with that. What would you like to talk about? So I, like I said, this has been a kind of a rough week for me. So homework has been something that's really been stressing me out. I honestly feel like maybe I should have taken this semester off, considering how rough it's been. I don't have my head on straight. I can't get it focused enough to even want to do my homework. And when I do want to get my homework, it's always like I'm so overwhelmed. So that's kind of what's bothering me. It's just been stressful to even get the energy to want to do my homework. So that's where I am. I'm struggling with homework and I'm struggling with life and trying to get all of this together to be able to move forward in my school. So it's been rough. Wanting the vaccine when you're high risk and seeing others high risk friends receive it. Oh, that's what's stressing you? I'm sorry, Annie. Yeah, it's the COVID thing has definitely been a stressor for everyone. I think I saw recently that we reached the 1-year anniversary of our lockdown. So yeah, that's definitely stressed. I'm a nurse and it's been super stressful to keep up with what's being going on in the job and at home. Yeah, a lot of healthcare workers, including myself, it's been really difficult to keep everything going. And, our mental health is just, that's a big stress. So I completely get that one for sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and preface this too, that I will not, tonight we're literally just dealing with mental health. This is going to be a completely safe space for everyone. I want you to know that. We're not going to do any bullying. You guys already know this. We're not going to do anything that is going to, be negative towards anybody that's in the comments. We're going to respect each other here, and we're going to talk about what we can do and try to help people and see what we can do to be a positive in people's lives. So that's what we want to do here, okay? We are not going to do any negativity, all right? So I saw someone says I had a heart problem out of the blue, had my first SVT attack last week, and the fear of what's next. My daughter has SVT, and it can be extremely scary. Your heart rate completely jumps up. It can be scary. Stress is one of the major things when it comes to SVT. So minimizing that, and I know that's so hard to do, like I said, in what's going on today and current situations. However, stress is a major culprit. I know that they have said something about, anxiety medication could help. But if you don't want to go that route, then of course there's ablation, which is of course, a permanent solution. But just take a breath and breathe. I know that that's something I definitely wanted to talk about was breath. Breath is so important. Being able to control your breath and being able to just breathe and control. See, something that I read in, I think it's, I don't want to say this, I think it's China, but I may be wrong, or Japan, or I can't remember. Anyway, one of the first things that they teach in school is breath and controlling your breath. And it's so important to be able to control that, because if you control your breath, then you can control a wide variety of your emotions. And that's something that I've had to do within myself, is just breathe and just release it out, and just sometimes just stay there and not think about anything else. Clear your mind as much as you possibly can and just breathe. Just breathe. And that has helped me tons to be able to control my breath, because once you slow your breath and get it to a regular pace, then you can control that heart. Then you can slow down that anxiety. Then you can slow down the rest of those senses where if you're just so, just the rest of your nervous system will kind of chill out too. That's something that can definitely help us. Yes, I do meditate. Not as often as I would like, but yes, I do meditate. But people talk about meditation. Meditation can have different terms for everyone. Meditation can be prayer. Meditation can be sitting in silence. Meditation can be your yoga routine or your gym exercise. Whatever gets you to the point to where you are just breathing and trying to block out some of that negativity, or just your stressors. School and busy schedules has been super stressful. Yeah, I'm right there with you. That's what's been going on in my life right now. School is really getting to me. Senna 90. Well, I'm so glad that you are here watching their first live. Thank you for coming in. Jenna, thank you. Anxiety's been out of control. You know what? You're not the only one that has the anxiety. The anxiety is, like I said, if you can control your breath, and I struggle with this. I'm not saying that I'm a master. Please don't think that I am. I'm simply saying that just breathe and it'll go, just try to control that breath. So that's what we'll try to do here. Just control that breath. All right, something else that is stressing us. I don't really know what you guys want to talk about. You're going to have to give me a little bit, because like I said, this is a safe space. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about, just to be able to let it go. You just need to get past statistics. Yeah, you are completely right. Statistics was kicking my butt. Once I can get past that, I think I'll be able to breathe, but I don't know. Whew. You're watching me on my journey. My kids are beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So yeah, that's something else. I'm not a master of anything other than just nothing. I feel no. Not a master at anything. So, let's see, I just had a miscarriage the other day and started having palpitations and fainted. I had anxiety. It's hard with this pandemic to be able to see people and to help you through it. Jessica, I'm assuming that's what Jessica, I will say that yes, I too, as a woman, I've had a miscarriage as well. And that is the hardest thing in the world. I don't think people really realize what it does to you, not only mentally, but what it does to you physically. The hormones have completely, are trying to fill up to support the pregnancy, and then they just drop. And your headspace trying to run, trying to get all of your hormones level again and trying to deal with the loss, that's just so heartbreaking, and it's just so hard on you mentally and physically. It is, hey Felicity and Josh, it is extremely hard to get back to that, and you think about it every single day, and I and my heart is right there with you. I totally understand. So I'm not going to talk about the vaccine. I'm not going to do it. We're talking about mental health. But yes, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I've been there, and I'm sorry. So, the only thing that I can say that helped me was, like I said, to meditate, write it down, write letters to this child if you want. I know that kind of helped me. I wrote letters, and I always journal. Journaling helps me because I can always write it down and the way I'm feeling, and then I can go back to it and reflect on it, like, oh yeah, and then present me can reflect on past me, and it kind of puts you in a spot to where you can kind of, I hate to say like time travel, but you can be like, oh yeah, and you can kind of reflect back there. Oh, sorry, my thing's like, my candle's like melting my stand. It's making it really warm and not inflexible. So yeah, being able to just take a breath is what's going to help. Journaling, it definitely helps. Like I said, I journaled a lot. I can reflect back and say, oh, silly me, or wow, I've really come a long way. And it gives you an opportunity to see your progress too. So don't think, that journaling is silly. It's really not. I thought it was silly when it was suggested to me, but it really does help. It really can help you. I really like it. Hey, Josh. Phil says a big challenge for me right now is finding time to take care of my own mental health and well-being while having to worry about my children's. Absolutely. Having children is a big responsibility. And I think people kind of take that kind of lightly, is bringing another person into the world. You are responsible not only for this person, like this little person, walking and toddling around, but you're responsible for their well-being. You're responsible for their mental health. You're responsible for who they become as an individual within their own life, and who they are in the spectrum of society. You're responsible for that. I tell my children all the time, especially my 18-year-old, I love my children to death, but sometimes I feel like I've done them a disservice by bringing them into the world. And that just, she's like, I don't understand. I'm like, because you're so completely involved in who they are, and you are responsible for who they become in life. So yes, that's just, I understand. Homeschooling is extremely tough considering what's going on right now. Yes, teachers are phenomenal at what they do every time. Gratitude each morning. Absolutely. Gratitude. Wanting to hear this week if I get a job transfer that I want, and keep trying to tell myself, even though I might not be where I want to be in my career, I'm where I'm meant to be. Yep. Always, making sure you have to remember, you may not get what you want, but you'll always get what you need. And recently I took a new job. I think a lot of you know, I took a new job, and I honestly didn't think that it was going to work. And I finally spoke up, and I said, I don't really enjoy what's going on here, and they have helped me and moved me to another location, and I'm so much happier. So like I said, I may not always get what you want, but I definitely have got what I need. So yeah. Trying to keep together myself through this pandemic is difficult. Yeah, I know. trying to keep anybody sane is difficult. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of be here with you guys and just say, hey, if you want to talk, I'll talk to you. If you want to pop in or go live with me and kind of talk something out, yeah, sure, we'll do that. But that's what we're doing here. So we're just gonna just talk it out. A Rolling Stone song? Phil, what are you talking about? Get the good times roll? I don't know. Difficult times, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading comments quickly. Oh, positive affirmations. Yes, positive affirmations are exactly what we need to do. I know that a couple people write on their mirror. I'm not one to do that because I'm a weirdo, and this one particular time I had this boyfriend, and there was some chick that written on the mirror, and then I could see it every single time I wiped it off or whatever. So I won't write on the mirror because that's just, I can't do it because it won't come off. I don't care. I tried everything to try to get it off, and it would kind of bleed through if it got hot or steamy. So I don't write on the mirror. But you Post-it notes on the mirror, absolutely, like you're kind, you're loved, all of those things, whatever you want to whatever you want to put on that mirror. That way you see it every morning. Something else I want to talk about: changing the narrative in your head. Being able to change that narrative in your head is so important. I know that I sometimes get so wrapped up in being what's like this puzzle in my head, like something's wrong, I gotta fix this, and it plays like a loop continuously. And I have to sometimes stop and be like, what are you doing? You're playing this narrative in your head over and over, and you're driving yourself mad. So I have to stop and be like, no, we're not doing that. Stop that, push that thought out, and put a positive in there. So I have to remember to change that narrative, because if you don't, then you're going to focus on that negative and focus on that bad thing or what you've got to fix. I got to fix, which is what I tend to do. So I can't tell you enough just to try to change that narrative a little bit. Hello from New York. So just, try to change that narrative a little. Something else that I've thought of, we get really low occasionally, and people struggle with depression or any number of things. I have, obviously, and there's been times to where I feel like I couldn't even get out of bed or off of the couch or do anything that I wanted to do other than just lie in bed. And the one thing that I can say is keep moving. Get outside. Even if it's to get your mail, just go slow. Like, go real slow. Take some time. Take some deep breaths while you're out there. And just breathe while you're outside. But, even if you're just like, I can't even get the mail, that's okay. Maybe get up and go to a window and just look out the window with while you're drinking coffee or something. But just to be able to just get up off the couch is, if that's where you are, get up off the couch and go look out the window. Go take a breath of fresh air. Go get the mail if you can do that. And if you can't, that's fine. But attempt to connect with nature just a little bit, to where you can, like I said, it always goes back to breath. Just breathe. Ever need your positivity? I don't feel as if I'm always positive. I try to be positive. I'm going to try to do wellness lives weekly, yes. Sometimes the most simple task can be extremely overwhelming. I struggle with that. For instance, I don't always want to wash my hair. I know that sounds so trivial, but I sometimes find it find it a struggle just to even wash my hair. And sometimes I struggle with even wanting to get up and clean my house. Sometimes I struggle with, I've got to take my vitamins this morning, I've got to make breakfast this morning, because I'm just exhausted. So, like I said, you just have to take one step at a time. You don't have to buy, and that was something that I used to think is this whole elephant. It's like, oh gosh, it's this whole elephant, and I've got this, and then after I do this, it's this. Sometimes going out with friends, I won't even do it because I'll go through the whole thing of what I got to do. I take a shower, I got to wash my hair, I got to do this, I got to put makeup on, I got to put my clothes on, I got to pick out an outfit, then I got to drive there, then I got to do this. And I go through that whole thing, I'm like, nope, not going, not doing it. And if I did that every time, I wouldn't go anywhere. So what I've had to do is step back and be like, all right, one step at a time. And that's all. That's all that I can say is just don't think of the whole thing. Just start slow. Just take one thing. So that's how I kind of get through. I know, doesn't it? Doesn't it? That's what I'm telling you. Like, Morph is like, man, that just made me tired. It does. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I think of the whole kit and caboodle, I'm like, nope, not going. So that can be applied for anything, like cleaning your home. That's something else I wanted to talk about. The whole safe space. Try to keep your house or your room kind of clean, because it will definitely help your mental health. And you're like, I'm so overwhelmed. I've been there to where I've slept with my laundry before. So I get it. But fold one thing. Like I said, just one thing. Just fold one thing. If you can only just fold one thing, fold it. And that one thing can possibly turn into two. And then that one thing will turn into three. Just start with one thing. It doesn't have to be astronomical. It can just be a very small thing, because that's progress. No matter how big that step is, it's still progress. Exercising. Yep, absolutely. Exercise helps. I wish that I could get there to exercise. I currently have a mental block with getting to the gym. I will get there eventually, but that's one of my mental things that I've got to get over. Sorry, I'm itching my eyeball. I have a mental block with the gym. That's really hard for me to kind of go into, but with the injury that I had and the relationship that I was in, it was all centered around the gym. So that's like this trigger for me. Even the smell of the gym like sends me right back to that person, those feelings, the whole kit caboodle. So I have to be very careful with the gym and make sure that I'm in a good headspace. Otherwise, I can't do the gym. It just sends me into panic attacks and I can't do it. Now, does that not mean that I still keep my gym membership? I still keep my gym membership to hold me accountable. Is it healthy? That's debatable. Could I work it at home? Absolutely. But when I'm at home, I have 50 other things that I want to do. So we'll get there. But yes, she's right. Exercising can help a lot. Even if you go out walking to the park, that I do like. I do like going to the park and walking around. I live pretty close to several here in the area, and just getting out, breathing, enjoying the sounds and everything. So sorry, I had to pause for a second. With the dentist, oh, you have a mental block with the dentist. Yeah. Yep, that's rough. But yeah, so that's kind of what I have to do. There's so many things that we can do as humans to cope. There's so many things that we can do to help each other, and that's something I posted earlier today about feelings. And I was kind of talking to myself. Here recently I got into triggers take you down fast. Yeah, they do. I posted something recently, and I got into an argument with someone, and I'm like, I'm allowed to have feelings. Everyone's allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to be happy. I'm allowed to be sad. I'm allowed to feel these things. And you are. You absolutely are allowed to feel these things. Now, you can feel sad. The problem is, don't stay there. And don't stay sad, because if you stay sad, then you're going to stay there and depression builds and whatever. Or if you have anger, if you stay in that anger for too long, then that builds too. So, we have to consider, yes, our feelings are valid and we can express those because that's a form of self-expression and getting it out and, working through it. But you can't stay in one spot for too long, because then that is where problems kind of start to build. So that's what I've noticed in my life anyway. That's what I see. So don't stay there too long. Yes, it's important to throw it out, but, let's work through it. Like, why am I angry? There was something that I saw, and I took several psychology classes for when I was teaching Head Start and stuff, and I took several, like I said, and there was this one lesson that kind of really stuck out to me. And it was like the types of, like, what's going on, what was it? Hold on. Like, emotions and primary emotions and secondary emotions. And that anger is a secondary emotion. And I'm like, really? I didn't know that. I thought that was kind of a primary emotion. No, evidently it's a second one, or according to the teacher, and the lesson that we were going through. The reason that it was a secondary, it's like, all right, explain this to me, I'm not getting it. The reason that anger was a secondary emotion is because it's driven by a primary one. Whether if you're angry, it's like, oh, okay. Are you angry because you were hurt? Are you angry because you're in love with this person? Are you angry because, why are you angry? So there's I'm mad because they hurt my feelings. Okay. Then let's talk about that. How did they hurt your feelings? And then that is how you start to heal. That's how you work through that anger. So sometimes when I'm angry, what I tend to do is I have to step back, and I can't necessarily always talk about it right then, because I tend to act out of emotion. And like I said, if I'm angry, I'm hurt or whatever, I have to step back and be like, all right, why am I feeling like this? Why am I angry? And the reason that I'm angry is fill in the blank. So I have to step back and be like, why am I angry? Am I hurt? Am I feeling some type of way about this? And then, am I offended? Whatever it is, step back, take a deep breath. Here's why. So, yes, she says she's an administrator. Oh, wonderful. So your son's starting to meditate. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I really wish that we would start this younger, and I can't. My son's not interested. You're so lucky that your son is like, let's just take a minute and take a breather. You're so lucky that your son is able to keep his safe space and be able to be like, Mom, I just need a second. That's a bravo young man. So yes. Kids and Head Start's a great program. It allows for parents to have that that help for sure. The Head Start parents, I absolutely loved them. The children were fantastic. They have lots of help programs too. So I really enjoyed Head Start. Head Start's definitely a blessing. Mindfulness is so important to implement in the classroom, no joke. I really wish that teachers would kind of understand what mindfulness means. I think that it would be very valid for them to teach that. I wish that we had it when we were younger. So yes, I wish that we had taught that, because now we're raising little ones, and it would definitely have been beneficial for me, instead of learning all this later in life and trying to what's wrong with me? Just take a breath. Yes, Bill, I meditate occasionally. All right, good night. So, Siren, you're asking what Head Start was. Head Start is a program that is for lower income families, or not necessarily lower, but most of the time it is. And it's from 3 to 5 year olds for early childhood development. So the parents have to apply for it, and then the children, it's kind of like a daycare, but it goes so much further than just daycare. It's, they have assistance programs and all kinds of things. It's been great. I was with Head Start for many, many years. I think they need to teach a course called Being Considerate to Others. I think that that would be great, mostly because being empathetic and being kind to others starting at a young age would definitely help the later you get into life. I think you start young and you develop, because they even say in Head Start that the formative years are from 3 to 5, so your personality is pretty much set from that time. Does that mean that you can't alter that? No, of course not. I mean, like I said, you change every day. But yes, from 3 to 5, your personality's there. So if you're able to teach these children at a younger age, or even with us, if we had these tools for us, there's no telling where I'd be, or from you or whoever. So I think that it would be great if we did have it there. My eye is itching. Oh, does anyone want to pop in real quick? Sorry, I'm reading comments. I'll talk about my son for a second. We've got a couple of teachers that really need to remember that children are children, and that's another stressor of mine. I have these teachers who don't understand how to cultivate a young mind, or to cultivate a personality, instead of all these little cookie cutters children. And my son is a class clown. My son absolutely is hilarious, and he likes to cut up, and he likes to make people laugh, and he sometimes gets himself in trouble for these things. And I get these little messages on my phone. These little messages on my phone is like, Wesley said this word in class to try to make people laugh. Wesley jumped out of his chair to make people laugh. Wesley did this to try to make people laugh. I'm like, don't call me. Don't call me. Like, unless he's broken an arm, he's injured himself, or he's injured someone else, don't call me. Don't do it. I think you're dumb. And I've told him this before, like, I think you're dumb. I think this is the dumbest thing that I've ever been into a parent-teacher conference over, is a kid having an outgoing personality. Don't call me. Like, oh, he was loud during transition. Okay. He's a boy. And he's 11. Let him be an 11-year-old boy. Why are you telling? Like, I feel like they're tattletelling. They're like, why are you bugging me with this? Go away. Why are you tattling? Go away. So it drives me insane. I'm just like, oh gosh, please go away. So that's a stress of mine too. Is like, I got into an argument with the teacher last year and the principal over this, and I struggle with keeping my mouth shut. My ex-husband gets on to me because he's just like, will you just please be nice? I'm like, no, they're not being nice. They're not doing their job. And people tell me that I'm really bossy. And no, I don't think I'm bossy. I just feel like there's a certain way that you should behave. Second. Ha ha, I got you.
You got me. Yeah, you surprised me on that one.
I
Let
gotcha.
me get to where there's more light. I was
Okay.
not. You could have gave me some warning, Mary.
I could have, would have, should have.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Could have, would have, should have. That wouldn't have
Um.
been any fun.
Well, I mean, it woulda for me. Man, I am not prepared for this. You do this every time.
I love it.
I I normally have like a thing that I put my like my phone on and stuff, so I can hold it and actually go back from the phone.
Yeah, that's what I
I,
do too.
yeah, I don't have that now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Trying to make sure I don't,
So
because
we're obviously talking
I
about
was
mental
eating
health
a
Monday and
salad.
like, kind of. Mm. Yeah, something else I guess we probably should have touched on was diet, like how that can really affect your mental health.
Yeah, it really bums me out because I'm on a diet right now. So my mental health is probably not the greatest right now. I'm pretty cranky. My wife hates me. No, not really. Sometimes. Uh, no. So diet, and I'm going to say this to everybody in this room, and please spread the word: stay off of sodas.
Yeah. So I work in urology, and before I worked in urology, I worked in nephrology. And that is the one thing that I see the most is sodas and diet sodas and kidney stones and all number of things that people are just like, oh, I'm like, you just stay away from sodas. Um, and I know that they're yummy and I understand, but the amount of sugar and the amount of sulfates and phosphates that's in here, those things build up in your kidneys and leave you with a wide array of issues.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to die then because that's usually all that I would drink before I
Mm,
started my diet. But afterwards, now I feel so much better,
good.
and
Yeah,
but I'm still pretty cranky from the caffeine.
that would. You can get caffeine from tea too, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been supplementing with. I've
Yeah. I
traded one
mean,
drug for another.
well,
Well, wait, no. Uh,
it's still you're right. It's still a drug, but at least, well, well, at least it's different. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you're still kind of getting that kick that you need from the caffeine, but you're not killing yourself with the soda the stuff that's in sodas. So
right. All the
I applaud you for
caramelized.
keeping that. Yes, I applaud you for at least trying to kick the habit with sodas. That's a difficult one that lots struggle with.
That has been one of my main, and that was one of my big when I retired out of the military. That was, I was always active in the military and everything, so I was always able to keep my weight down. And then after I retired, yeah, man, I put on weight. I think I put on 35, 40 pounds now that I've retired.
Yeah,
I've only been retired out for 7 years. This is 7 years this year.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's awesome. So I have a question.
uh-oh.
Um, all right. So, well, I mean, it's just about mental health stuff. So, I don't think everyone knows what you do. So, you want to tell them what you do?
So I am a counselor with the United States Air Force. I'm the program manager for the ANAM program, which I know nobody knows what the hell that is.
Hmm.
Basically, that is the TBI testing, or the testing for traumatic brain injuries
Okay.
to see how severe they are. That
Gotcha.
is what I do in the daytime, and then most everybody, I think everybody in here knows that YouTube is my night hobby
Yeah.
thing.
So, so when I talk about these things, you obviously know what,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. So, I kind of want to touch on something that has been brought to my attention through a message, and um, it's kind of relationship based. I have a friend who's struggling with a breakup,
Okay.
and this has been a complete. This is a male friend, by the way. So this male friend of mine has over and over and over again, every single one of his relationships, he is just it's the end of the world. Every
Mm.
breakup is the end of the world, and it's like constantly he's just struggling to, oh, I can't live without her, I don't want to live without her. And one of his I guess it's a psychiatrist. I don't really know the correct term there. Um, said something about what was it? Borderline personality.
Okay.
And you know, I've often thought, really, is that wow? So I kind of looked it up and kind of thought about it or whatever. How I guess the question that I'm looking to answer here is how common is that? How common is it for this diagnosis? I've never heard it before until he mentioned it.
It's not really common, just, and it's for the simple fact that it's hard to diagnose.
Okay.
Um, and it's hard to tie because and see, I don't know the whole situation, so,
Mm-hmm.
I can only speculate. But what what it sounds like, he has an attachment issue,
Okay.
letting go. So let me ask this: how well do you know this person? Is
Oh,
this
I've known him for I don't know, probably close to 10 years.
okay?
Yeah.
So, uh, if this person's dog died,
Hmm.
how would this person be?
Oh, it would be the same way.
It'd be the same way.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this person lost his favorite toy, that's the world's over. Kind
Um, Maybe not as extreme,
of. Okay.
but he, sunglasses or something like that. He'd be like, man, I lost my favorite sunglasses. He's very Eeyore.
Right.
It's the
Right.
only way that I can really describe him. He's very Eeyore. It's like, oh, I lost my favorite pair of sunglasses today. But with
Okay.
relationships, it's the end of the world. It is just so sad. I can't live without them. And then he's reaching and grasping for straws, like these doing these little circles, trying to make it work or how
Right.
to get back together or this. If I said this, then this. If I'd done this, then that. How how
This
I
sounds like somebody I know.
yeah. How do you get to stop that narrative?
Uh,
What can you offer? Because
it's a process. It's not just one thing and it's over. And that's something you always have to keep in mind with the mental health, that everything is a process. It's just
hmm
like you were talking about earlier. It's always just that next step where we get to this one step, now we got to build on this next step. And it can be
yeah,
something as you get in an argument with this person, and then
I
the
do.
next well, you get in an argument with this person, and the next day that person probably feels really bad about what happened, or and doesn't like it, and is trying to do everything they can to get back to where you guys were.
Yeah,
I'm assuming. Okay, maybe you let them. Maybe you would say like, okay, you can't keep doing this, or I'm not going to be here anymore. I can't. Basically, what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to keep it professional because you're the way you're asking me, but I'm just going to put it the way Morph would put
yeah.
it.
Go for it. Of course.
You can't keep shitting on me and me coming back. I
Yeah.
mean, you just can't, because you have to look out for your mental health too.
Right.
But if you do want to be there for that person, maybe you step away for a second and let that person see what it's like without you there.
Yeah.
But you, at the same time, you can't step away for so long that person grasps for somebody else to try to fill that void where you're not there anymore.
Right.
But
Which is kind of what's happening.
okay.
It's I'm glad that he has friends, other friends. I'm glad um, that he's able to reach out to other people. However, I've had a conversation with other friends, and I mean, it's it's sad because it's like, hey, we're trying to help. We're trying to offer these things for you. We're trying to say this is what, because I've been through a relationship that was absolutely heartbreaking. I mean, like it was awful. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
we've all had bad breakups, but not every single relationship and breakup, excuse me, Every relationship is the end of the world.
Mm.
And, he's like, well, I've sit here and I've listened to you whine and complain over breakups. I'm like, yeah, you have. I've had, a couple bad ones. And I said, but the difference is every single breakup that I've had is not the end of the world. I said, I've had a couple bad ones, but every single one that you go through is like the end of the end. I want to die. I want to just, roll over. And then you go through these periods where it's just like depression. And it's a cycle constantly. It's just like depression. And then then he'll find someone else and then he's on high again. And then they break up and it's depression. And it's constantly.
Right. So his
And
cycle is his highs are really high and his lows are really low.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it all stems around these women. And it's just, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're not listening to me, how can I help you?
And that's the thing. It also, you have to factor in the person's personality.
Yeah.
But the main thing from anything, if a person don't want help, they're not listening, no matter what you do.
Yeah. I have another friend who will not seek mental help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just won't do it. They think that mental health is a joke. They think that people seeking mental health shows a point of weakness, which is
Mm-hmm.
something else that we should probably touch on too. That they think that it shows a form of weakness, which is not true. I think that it shows strength more so than anything to say, I need help.
All right.
Because oftentimes, like I was talking to you, I'll just be honest. I talked to you and I was like, I need help.
Yeah.
I need someone to listen to me. There's only so much that a friend can do. There's only so much that a friend can listen to. Now, I have Phil's on here. He's like, hands down, he's my brother, but he's my best friend too. And I talk to him all day, every day. But, there's only so much that I feel like, his ear's going to fall off one day
Right.
because I just talk it off. So there's only so much that your friends, your family, or whatever, before you exhaust them.
Right.
And that's kind of why I kind of did this live too, is like, I want to be there for people to say, hey, if you want to talk to me, I will talk to you. I'll work, I'll do that. Like, I want to, because I know that I've needed that so many times
Mm-hmm.
in life. So yeah, that's kind of why I reached out to you and kind of brought you on here, because you have a little bit of experience, actually a lot more experience than I do with that. And so I thank you for kind of coming on live with me.
No worries. I'm glad to be here. Just wish I would have been more prepared. Next time you give me a heads up.
Yeah, I will. We're like, hey. Well, I did though. I kind of did give you a little heads up. You were like, okay, I want to make sure not to work out. I'm like, you do that.
Yeah.
So I did
Well,
give you a little help.
my hair's clean today. Like last time when you tried to
I
bring
wish
me
mine
on,
too.
like it was all like sticking down in my face like this right here, and I was gross.
Yeah,
And then when I saw that live request, I was like, this is not happening. I do not know
that's
why
funny.
you would do this to me.
Siren, she says sometimes it's easier to talk about problems with a stranger that's a trained professional. Absolutely.
It is.
Um, I think that it is, because at this point, I can be as crazy as I want to be. I can say whatever ludicrous thing that I need to say, and I can say exactly whatever it is, and that's why they're there. And
Hmm.
honestly, whatever it is that you have to say, most of the time, they've already heard this before, or it's not as crazy as you think, or they've heard something 50 times crazier. So that's something you got to remember.
I can't tell you some of the stuff that I've heard in
Mm-hmm.
sessions, and especially, so I used to work for Child Protective Services also,
Oh,
and
wow.
just some of the crazy stuff from going in the houses and meeting with the parents and the kids that I have seen. It's just like, I thank God I have a pretty normal life, pretty
Yeah,
boring vanilla life, and I'm okay
yeah,
with that.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, I've seen a lot working with the Head Start parents too. It can be rough.
And I don't know if you brought this up. I was taking a buddy of mine home before I could jump in. But one of the things that you have to deal with that a lot of other people don't is being on a reality show and people having their own opinions of things. So I can't, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember, but the first message I ever sent you, I think this was last summer, is I saw some of the stuff that people were saying. And I was like, we're not all like this. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that or not, but
No, I don't. But
yeah,
yeah.
I messaged you and I said, look, I'm really sorry that people are being like this and being ugly. Um, we're not all like this.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but I appreciate that. I I've had to take several steps back off of social media for my own mental health. People don't realize how ugly or how mean, how words do kind of hurt or do kind of,
Mhm.
you know, put a little seed here. And so, yeah, I had to take a break from my own mental health. They think they know me. You
Right,
don't. You don't.
right.
Just, I'll tell you now, you don't. Whatever you think you know, you don't. Um, and then
I've
once you
got a
think you've got,
little taste of that. I've
yeah,
actually enjoyed it so far.
yeah. And then the minute that you think that you got me figured out, I'm flipping it up on you.
Right.
Um, so, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can be thick-skinned as they come, but sometimes, man, you
Well, and
catch me on
then
the
when it's
wrong
just
day.
over and over
Yeah,
and
yeah,
over again, it
yeah.
finally just wears on you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, it finally gets to where you're telling yourself, okay, I am this, or
It
it can
can.
at least. Yeah.
So that's something else that I was trying to talk to one of my girlfriends about. She's kind of struggling with a breakup. This is another girlfriend of mine. I mean, I don't know what's going on with breakups here recently, but it's going around evidently. So I had a girlfriend that's kind of going through a breakup, and she says, you know, he's just calling me all these names, and he's just, just laying into me.
Hmm.
And, because she's hurt and she's emotional, and she's talking talking to him and just trying to get all those emotions and all that just out.
Right.
And of course, he's lashing out and calling names and everything. And I was like, don't listen to that. Don't listen to that. That's not who you are. He probably doesn't even believe half the stuff that he's saying. He's just trying to get under your skin. Just don't. And I
Right.
have to take that myself and be like, this is not who you are. This is not your true self. This is not what you what this is not you. That's just nothing but more than a projection. And
Right.
that's so hard to keep that, in my brain sometimes. Like, this is not who I am. I am not these. I'm not this. This is their own, what they see.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have to remember that and trying to express that to her as well.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be real. Sometimes it's hard not to just want to cut a bitch. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I'll say
don't get me wrong.
it.
I mean, there was this one I did this one live, and man, she flew all over me. Like this one girl, oh my gosh, it's like she just said some off the wall, bizarre nonsense, and if she was in front of me, it would have been on. I would have thrown a right and a left.
There was this one live that you did. This was way back, like last summer or something. And I think you were coming on to do like makeup tips or something like that, is what
Nope.
it was. It was it wasn't about 90 Day or nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
It was
Oh,
something that
probably my favorite things, and I was talking about skincare.
maybe it may
Okay.
have been something like that. And this girl got on there, and you went from like the nice Mary that everybody's used to seeing and everything, and she said something, and boy, she said something that triggered your ass, and you just went off and just lunged. It was like you were trying to lunge through that screen, and I was just like, "Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's pretty cool."
Yeah, I can do that. I do that. And that's why I say, occasionally I have to take a step back and like, okay, why am I angry? What's going on? But sometimes I don't get to catch myself quick enough. So, like,
Well, it was entertaining to watch. I'll give you that. It
I'm
was a
sure.
lot of fun.
Just
Cause
don't be
yeah,
in front of me.
yeah, no, no. Oh hell no, I would have never ever wanted to be there in person. But to watch you, like, maybe you should go up against like McGregor or something. Cause like I think
I don't
at that
know.
point I think you could have took him.
I think McGregor weighs like 10 pounds more than I do. He's just a little guy. He's a little guy. He'd have his hands full with me, that's for sure.
Well, he
Oh,
definitely did with Mayweather.
uh-huh.
So, but yeah, sorry.
Um,
I know I'm taking you off topic.
oh,
That's
it's
what I
fine.
do. I'm so
It's
used
okay.
to that. So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to get
But
you off topic.
that definitely can go into the whole thing. Like I've grown as a person, and yes, I still struggle, and yes, we still, I have feelings and whatever, and I don't always keep that anger under control. That's definitely true. I try
I
hard, but it's a struggle.
It's a struggle for me. One of the things, and it's because like I've been to Iraq. I've seen some horrible stuff. Worked for CPS, saw some more horrible stuff, and just
Mm-mm.
with counseling there, I have trouble with empathy now.
Really?
Yes, I'm not empathetic with people. Like I have to really try to get that connection with somebody. I'm not an empathetic person. I'm just like
Do you? So this was a conversation that I had, I think, with Phil. Do you think empathy can be taught?
I hope it can, because if not, I'm screwed. Uh,
I was kind of having this conversation, and I was like, can empathy be taught, or is it just there? Is it something that's like deeply seated within us?
Everybody has some sort. Even I do. I struggle to find it, but if a puppy gets ran over,
Hmm.
I feel bad. Like
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
gonna feel that, especially if there's a little kid crying over that. My heart's gonna break for that kid.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I have it there. I have the capacity for it, but I also have this thought process for me that okay, especially for adults, like you made your bed, lie in it. I'll
Hmm.
help you. I'll help you get up if you need it.
Yeah,
But this is you got to go through this.
yeah,
Because this is your choice.
yeah. Annie said that so many have lost empathy in 2020. I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah,
We're like, oh, whatever, get over it. Oh, whatever, we're all struggling. Oh, whatever, we're all struggling.
yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times on so many different platforms, so many different, whatever. Oh, whatever, get over it. It's
Hmm.
2020. Oh, we're going through stuff. Oh, we're all going through stuff. You're not the only one.
Hmm.
Yeah, but, that doesn't mean you have to discredit them.
You don't have to discredit them, and you also have to. And this is something that I have to remind myself of because I am guilty of that same thing. Uh, is that so? It may not be the worst problem in the world for you, but it's the worst problem in the world for them.
That's kind of funny. I'm going to mention this person one time and one time only. I had this conversation with Jeffrey with one of his sons,
Hmm.
and this was years ago, and he was so upset over something, and he goes, "Oh," Jeffrey goes, "Oh, get over it. It's not a big deal." And then the kid stormed off, and I looked at Jeffrey and I said, "Jeffrey, it may not be a big deal to you, but it is obviously to him, and you
Hmm.
need to remember that. Like he's younger, he's a kid, he doesn't know. Like you have to teach him that." And so, yes, it may not be, and I said that it may not be a big deal to you, but it is to him.
Right.
And then the look in his eye, he's like, "Oh shit, you're right." You know how you can just tell somebody's like, "Oh shit, you're right."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that's really hard for me to remember sometimes. Like I said, that's something that
Hmm.
I struggle with. Like,
Yep.
oh my God, you stumped your toe. Yeah, it hurts, but 2 seconds, it's going to be fine. Stop
Hmm.
complaining about it.
Um, so this is where I kind of struggle with empathy, not personally, but like with psychopaths, like true psychopaths.
Oh yeah.
They always say that true psychopaths do not have empathy.
Hmm.
So my question, of course, obviously was, are you born with empathy? Um, is it deeply embedded? Because a lot of people, like kids or whatever, they're like, oh, he's going to be a psychopath because he kills animals and has nothing. So is that built in? Is
To
it one of
a
those things
to
that,
a point. I mean, your environment shapes who you are.
mm-hmm, it
So
can?
what? So you have kids that
Yep.
grow up that they just have their heart on their sleeve. My 6-year-old's that way.
Yeah.
But my 13 and my 15-year-old are not that way. They're very tough skinned, but You call my 6-year-old a poopy head, he's got his feelings on his shoulders for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
You call that to my other boys, they're not going to be that way at all. They're going to call you something back. So
Yeah, go ahead.
it's really like your environment shapes who you are, and my belief is that while you are born with a certain level of understanding and caring and love and stuff like that, how you're brought up and your experiences, and that really sets the motion of how empathetic, how much love, just who you are. That's
Right.
been my experience, at least.
I agree. Now, you were talking, and Annie brought it up. You said it, we've lost empathy. So, can that be that they get so jaded by life that it just completely goes away for everything?
Absolutely, and that's like I was saying. That's kind of what's happened to me, and where I struggle with sometimes being empathetic. I've just become so jaded with things that I really have to take a step back and just really kick my own ass and say, hey, you need to open your eyes better to what's going on to this person, not just what's in your own head.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
A professor of mine explained it really great. And I just had this conversation with someone last weekend. Everybody has their own pair of glasses.
Yep.
You have to take yours off sometime and put theirs on to understand what's going on.
Oh, yes. I totally agree with you. And, I do that too. I'm just like, whatever. I look at people sometimes like, can you really be that dumb? And it's not that I mean that they're dumb. It's just like how I can't empathize with you when I don't get it.
Right.
Or so that's where I struggle with it. It was like, all right, let me take my shoes off for a second. Let me put theirs on. Let me try to like work through that and get to their thought process.
Right.
So yeah, I can see how that can be a struggle, especially when you're like, no, I don't want to do that. That's time consuming.
Right.
And that takes a lot out of you.
And being a friend and, being there for people is time consuming sometimes. It's not always, hey, what's going on? Make me laugh. Let's go out and party.
Yep.
Sometimes it's being there for the hard times. Sometimes it's being there when they're crying their eyes out and they just need somebody to sit there and watch them do it.
Yep. I've been there. I've had several of those friends watch me, and I've been that friend too, watching like, okay,
I've
I'm
actually
here.
never had one of those friends.
Really? Oh, wow. Well, you're not a girl. Girls do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be offensive to girls.
No. I get it. Guys don't matter. Girl power.
I didn't mean. I was like, oh gosh, how did that come off? That's not what I meant. But yeah, no, I was simply saying that. Mostly it's been girlfriends like, just come over and just be here with me. I don't want to be alone.
Right.
Okay, I can do that. If that's what you need, I can do that.
I don't need you to say anything. I don't need you to do anything. I just need somebody to sit here.
Yep, absolutely. So Phil says some people lack empathy simply because they're spoiled or self-centered. It's not necessarily a conscious lack of empathy.
That's true.
That's I believe very that true. Too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Some people are so obsessed with themselves they can't take off their glasses, like I was saying.
Yep, I totally agree with you.
Nobody else's opinion matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggle with self-centered people because I guess I don't want to say I have a big heart or toot my horn, but I feel like I try. And I'm not always good at it, but I do try to give. Like I try to be a very giving person as much as I can. And I try to be there for people. I try to be the person that they need or the person that I would want them to be. Like if I'm like, hey, if I see a problem, then I want to try to at least help them with it or see if there's something I can do to assist. That's just who I am. I've always been that way. I don't want to say that I'm a people pleaser, but yeah, if you want to label me, sure, maybe. Solver. Yes, that's probably what it would be more so than a people pleaser. It's a problem solver.
Me and you are similar in that aspect because I'm a problem solver.
Yeah.
Hell, even in school, people would say that I'm going to be a counselor one day because I was the guy that went and that everybody vented to, and I wasn't the popular kid, but everybody knew Clint.
Yep.
And if y'all didn't know, my name's Clint in the comments. It's not Morph. Mom wasn't that weird.
Oh, I kind of like Morph.
That's a nickname I got because I do have a rough side, so they say I change real quick.
Gotcha. Like, I like Morph.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. My friends definitely would come to me if they want to talk or want to vent or any of those things. So it's there. Maybe I should have went into something like that, but it just didn't really interest me.
And, I'll say this, being, in the counseling profession and being in mental health, the best thing you can do, no matter what's going on, sad, depressed, is find something to laugh at.
Yeah.
If you can do that, one, it has, which you're already going to know this, it's got that chemical reaction in your brain that all of a sudden everything's going to start feeling good. Even if it's something like if it's not somebody that can make you laugh, throw on an old episode of Dick Van Dyke. Those old 50s sitcoms make me laugh so hard.
One of the things that I have started to do too, those 90s sitcoms like those that you're talking about, or even further on, I started watching one of my favorites from when I was a kid, and it's called Dharma and Greg.
Oh, I've heard it, yeah.
It's the funniest thing. And of course, it'll get a chuckle out of you. Yeah. Like any of those, and that's definitely something that we could talk about too, is turn on something that's going to make you laugh, that will make you laugh. Even if you've seen it 50 times, I don't care.
For me right now, I'm on this Medea movie kick. And Medea gets me just full on fat guy belly laughing.
I've never seen one of her movies.
What?
Mm-mm.
We got to do a watch party then.
Mm-mm. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. I would like that.
We need to do a watch party and watch one of the Medea movies.
Okay.
That would be so much fun.
All right, well, then we'll have to do it like through Zoom or something.
Yeah. Well,
you want to do that? We can do that. That would be great. Maybe we can do that next week for Mental Health Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that good with you?
I don't care.
I think that's a great idea. I would love it. That way to get people laughing and, anybody that's struggling needs to kind of cheer up, we can definitely do that. I like it.
And then one of the things I like about those movies, and we're from around the same area, is that they're so applicable to our culture.
Yeah, I know.
They really are.
The only thing that I've really ever seen of Medea are the memes. So I know who she is. I know how she kind of speaks, and I've heard, but I've never watched one of her movies ever.
Oh man, you're missing out. I'll have to pick a good one.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So I think that'll be great for next week to just kind of giggle because that's important.
Yes.
Even if it's a little one. There was something else that I saw. It was like, even if it's for 30 seconds or just 10 seconds, just fake laugh. Fake, they say fake it till you make it.
Right.
Like, ha, 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 just fake it. Because it still will boost it, that serotonin and get you going.
Yep.
Even just a little bit. So I think this will be great. Oh, I like this. Yay, I'm excited. So.
But, yeah. And, that's like with my YouTube thing, that's the whole reason I started it. I just wanted, if you look at the early stuff that we did, that when I had Hap with me and we were doing the videos, it wasn't about 90 Day. It was just about random stuff that we would think, and it all started just from, and I'm not trying to shoot my channel. That's not what
No, you're fine. I don't care. You're fine.
No, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to tell you, because that's what we would do. We'd have these stupid arguments. I mean, they were bad too, and we would get these stupid heated arguments. Like one of them that we had right before we started the channel was, what would you do? We were watching Jurassic Park, and it's, what would you do if the dinosaurs were actually back? And then it turned into this big spiral, and that's how the name of the channel even came about, was Down the Rabbit Hole. Like, we would go into this, and we would start with dinosaurs and end with like we've been in Iron Man suits and stuff. I mean, it would be so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that got us laughing, and then we would, with our friends in public, we'd have these same arguments, and we'd be like at a bar or something hanging out with our friends, and then we'd look around and there'd be like this whole group of people like laughing and joining in with the conversation, and we were like, well, this is cool. And a lot of the times was no trouble at bars or anything when that would happen. Just people were like, "Oh, you guys are so funny," and blah blah blah.
Well, see, that's something too. Yeah, people go to bars to laugh and have a good time and build that serotonin and all kinds of things. So yeah,
And
I
they
totally,
leave
that's
going to
great.
jail because they got in a bar fight.
Well, you know, maybe guilty or two, thing or two of those. I used to be rowdy. Like, I used to be pretty rowdy. I'm not gonna lie behind that. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a confession to make.
Uh-oh. You gonna do it now or?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is just random. This doesn't have anything to do with mental. Actually, yes, it does.
This is down the rabbit
So
hole. I like it.
yep, this is, so I had someone reach out to me that was from my past, and they're like, "Do you remember us hooking up?" No, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Not even a little bit. And it made me feel so much shame. It made me feel like a hoe. It made me feel sad.
Yeah.
It made me feel all these emotions because I felt, oh gosh, this is embarrassing for him. I don't remember. He wasn't memorable. No. And I had to say, please don't take offense. Let me explain something. Where I was in my life at that particular point was I was drowning myself in alcohol and any self-gratification that I could pull from the air. And I had to explain this to this guy, 12 years after the fact. You know what I mean? Like a long time ago.
It was that long.
Oh, it's been probably closer to 15. It's been a really long time.
Wow.
So I had to, he reached out and I was like, oh God, I'm sorry, I don't remember. And I didn't mean it in any way other than forgive me. So I had to say, forgive me. And, that kind of triggered me because I'm like, oh, this is something that I've regurgitated from 15 years ago coming back to bite me in the ass. And I had to forgive myself, like, you're not that same person anymore. Like, you don't do those things anymore. But that was just like a really big.
I wouldn't take it so bad, though, because let's be real. It was 15 years ago.
It's been a long time.
I couldn't tell you. Never mind, I'm going to get myself in trouble.
No,
right. I couldn't tell you my list 15 years ago. I really couldn't, because I've had kids. I've been married twice now. I'm currently married to the second one. But, like, there's a lot of shit that happens in 15 years. I've bought a house. I've had cars. I've done all I've lived.
Yeah.
That one night that I barely remembered then wasn't important. So
exactly. And I didn't mean it to be negative. Like, I've known this person for, a long time, obviously, but yes, I remember, hanging out with them. I remember the feelings that I had. I remember them, obviously, but of course I don't remember that one night. And I'm like, gosh, how can I forget that? But then you're like, oh wait, alcohol and your mental health. I'm the type of person that if something, I will totally black it out. I will totally try to erase it, and I'm good at that. I'm extremely good at that, like almost too good at that. About being able to just like, nope. And I would just, like, nope, and just block it out because
don't
it
tell
was
me
too
you're
much.
Don't do that with this live with me. I got to block it out.
No, not at all.
Okay.
But I can do that. Is it healthy? No.
No.
But can I do it?
That will come back in dreams. That will come back. It's going to come back somewhere.
I know, and it does. It comes back in dreams. It comes back in dreams a lot, to be quite honest with you. Like, it absolutely does. Like, it messes with my sleep a lot.
I have some things that happened in Iraq that some nights that, my wife tells me, like, I don't know what you were dreaming, but I'm glad I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, yeah. I don't like it, but I can do it. So.
Well, don't. You got to
Well,
stop
I mean,
that.
it's harder. It's harder said than it's easier said than done.
No. We've talked about it now, so you can just stop doing that. That's the way. That's the way counseling sessions work. Okay,
I
we
wish it was that. Well,
vocalize
wait a
it.
minute. Let me go ahead and flip this around on you because you said that it's practice makes perfect,
I
right?
did,
And that's
but
what
you practiced it, so now you're perfect at it.
I wish it was that easy.
Let me flip
Make
it.
your
If
job.
you want to do this, we can do it.
It would make your job a hell of a lot easier, wouldn't it? Like, oh, I
No,
said it,
oh
it's
my
done.
God, yeah.
Oh, I
Oh my
said it, it's
God,
done.
yeah. Okay, high five next.
Yep, yep. You'd be
Oh
out of a
man, that would
job.
be so much easier. But
But yeah.
but yeah, it's like we were talking about these people that go through these things, and just like that blackout, like you were talking about,
Hmm.
that's interesting to me because I'm on the opposite spectrum of that.
Really,
I remember everything.
really.
Yeah, like
Nope, not it.
here we go. Something really insignificant, but for me, it stood out so much. Is last weekend, like I was over in Knoxville with Jeffrey and Dom and Sonia and
Hmm.
the group. Uh, Dom's cologne. I
Is
won't
it
be
bad?
able. No,
Oh,
it's a very pleasant smell. No, don't get me
okay.
wrong. His cologne smells good, but that smell for some reason stuck with me the whole weekend. And whether I knew Dom was around me or not, like if I got the hint of that, I knew he was close. And
Ah,
it just like brought me back to that first time when I walked in and hugged him and said
hmm,
hello.
yeah. Well, smell and memories tied super
Mm-hmm.
close together. It really is, and
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I have such a hang up over going to the gym. Is like it's just it. As soon as I walk in and I smell that smell, I'm like, oh, I can't.
you should try my gym. It stinks. It smells like 3-day-old gym socks that's been stuck to feet. Like
That's
it's
funny.
bad. And so
I
you
think
walk.
it must be the cleaning products or the gym. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but it's just the smell of the gym just
What would be
triggers.
interesting for me to see would be to like go to go to the gym with you to see how you react, and then put that same smell. Well,
Hmm.
no, but put that same smell and say just I'm just picking a random room, but like your living room, and then see you walk in your living room, but it smell like your trigger. What would happen?
That'd be interesting. I know that I freeze. Like it's like this overwhelming sense of panic.
Right.
Like just, I mean, like I lose my breath and I'm just like shaking, like a shaking chihuahua all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get past it. I don't
But
know what to do.
but what for me it would be interesting, like I said, to see if that same smell was say like in your living room,
My safe spot.
your safe spot.
Hmm.
What would that do? Would you even notice it, or would you just walk in and say, "Oh man, my living room smells funky today," or
Hmm.
would you have that full blown panic attack, or is it the smell that's in that environment is what the trigger is? That's what would be interesting to me to find out. Because then at that point you would know, is it the smell that's your trigger and you can't have that smell, so maybe you try a different location.
Huh. I don't know because I want to go to the gym. I want to feel the way that I used to feel back then.
Right.
Because, I remember loving to go to the gym and the way that my body feel. And I remember that part. But I think it is the smell that's getting me more than the place.
Well then
Um,
I would definitely try a different gym, like one like on the other side of town. Just not to sign up for a membership, just walk in and see what happens.
yeah,
If
that's a good
it
idea.
if it happens, okay, it sucks right then, like I know, but now you know. Because you have to find out what your triggers are, and you have to narrow that down and find out, like I said, like, was it the smell, is it the place, is it the combination of both? And what exactly is it that makes you react that way?
I've moved on from it's not the place anymore. because I used to walk in and just tremble because I was afraid that he would be there or whatever. And I moved past that. Now it's just a smell, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, then, there's other ways around that too. Like you could spray some of your perfume or something in your mask and try walking in
Well,
there
now that we can wear masks, yeah, that's a great idea.
and
I'll have to try that.
see if that works. If it don't work, again, at that time it's gonna suck. You got to get through it. You have to get out of there, get yourself back under control, and then maybe next week try something different.
Okay. I like that. I'll try that.
It's baby steps.
Yeah, that's
Maybe just
everything
going
is.
and walking by that place a time or two during
Yeah.
the week. I don't know. I don't know where it's at. If there's other stores around there that you might could go to, but
Yeah.
go there, park there on purpose, make yourself walk in front of the place. Get your mind used to being around that place. Then maybe one day go in, just right at the door. Just go in, look around for a second. And if somebody says something, just tell them I'm trying to make up my mind whether I want to do this or not. So I'm just
Well,
kind of.
they have the tanning beds there, so sometimes
Oh,
I'll just go and just do the tanning bed only.
oh, okay.
And
So you're
yeah,
already accustomed to
yeah,
going there. Oh,
yeah. So
wow. Okay, great.
it's getting easier to go.
Uh huh.
It's just staying.
Right, right.
Like,
For me, I don't have any triggers except for the exercise themselves. Those are my triggers.
I gotcha.
I hate
Yeah.
working out.
So, Cass says, I understand that after my accident at work, things trigger my anxiety, and I haven't been able to figure it out, and she's tried, or he, she. Sorry, I didn't know who, if you're a he or a she.
I know, Cass. It's a she.
Is she okay? Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've had those. I remember I used to go down the baby aisle, and I used to have anxiety. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? And it was a smell of lotion, that like the baby powder smell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like, nah, I'm just going to go around it until I get used to it again.
Right.
So I'd have to go around that aisle. So I get it. And there are triggers that really drive me that crazy. Being interrupted is a trigger for me.
Oh my God, me too.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand to be interrupted. That is
Nope.
so rude, and I
It
cannot
is.
stand people to be rude.
Nope.
And
Nope.
that makes me so. Oh my God, we
Yep.
got a lot in common, actually.
But see, that trigger being interrupted was something that, like ex-boyfriends or whatever,
Right.
I didn't feel like they listened or would hear me or whatever. So they would just talk over me or felt like, and it made me feel insignificant, and they didn't give a shit about my thoughts or my feelings or whatever. And so
Okay.
now it's become like this thing, and I'm just like, don't interrupt me.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right. Right.
So, but it is definitely a trigger.
But isn't it amazing how you associate things
Ugh.
with other things, like that, just like you were talking about, like that interruption that pisses you off now, because
Yes.
in your mind you know you're valid, you
Yes.
know you're smart, you know
Yes.
that you are competent,
Yes.
and somebody doing that totally invalidates you.
Absolutely. Yes. And it's just a simple interruption. Sorry.
Yeah, like that. No.
Yeah, like that.
No, but but that sets you off, and it's the point that you've made up in your mind that you're going to know that I'm valid. You're going to know that I'm competent. You're going to know that I'm smart. And by God, I'm going to get you now.
Yeah. And it's not, I hate to say it, like, I'm going to get you. It's more like, at least let me finish my thought. I don't care if you like the thought. I don't care if you agree with the thought. But at least let me finish my sentence. Then it'll be your turn. That's just standard communication skills. And that is another thing that bothers me. It's like, okay, look, I'm fairly well spoken. I'm not like the best, but I feel like I can get my point across fairly well. And I respect you enough to hear you. I would like the same. It's just about respect.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it could be, But like we were talking about earlier, you have to step back and put on those other glasses, because for them
Yeah.
it wasn't about being disrespectful. It could, and this isn't always the case. Of course, I'm generalizing. It's not, oh, I was being disrespectful. It's, I got overexcited about what you're talking about, and I started talking. It could just
Hmm.
be something that simple.
So, yeah, and yeah, but I struggle with that. I don't know how to, I'm like, I understand you're excited, but let me finish my sentence. Your thought will still be there. I hope.
Right. Mine wouldn't.
Oh, are you one of those?
Yeah, I'm one of those. I am so right. So,
Oh, that's funny.
perfect example. Coming home, I'm thinking, okay, I got this stuff. I can put it together for video and do this and this. 13 hours. That's all I thought about, was how I can arrange what I got, put it together for video. It's gone.
Gone, dead,
It's gone. I went to
done.
bed. We got home about 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I went to bed, woke up, I was like, man, I had some great ideas. Where the hell did they go?
Yeah. I started keeping a journal beside me, and I'll like write it down, but I keep it as a dream journal too.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can like jot down real quick before I forget. Um, and then I'll keep it like little ideas. If I've got pieces of paper, random pieces of paper in my purse,
Mm-hmm.
and I've made Phil start writing down some of our thoughts. Like write this down, because we had a podcast once upon a time, and we kind of shut it down, and we're thinking about putting it back up. So I'm like, write this down. Like, let's talk about this, let's talk about that, or whatever.
Right. Isn't that
Keep
the
people
worst
with you.
thing, though, is having to
Yeah,
come up with material for stuff like
yeah,
that? That is,
yeah. It's difficult.
at the start, it's great and it's
Uh huh.
fun. And then
Yeah.
by like week 7, you're like, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about.
Well, it goes into writer's block. I mean, it's that
Yeah.
whole thing with writer's block, regardless of, we may not be writing, we still have to content creators, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you still have to come up with content.
Right.
So,
And people get used to seeing that stuff every day on that day. And then you're just like,
hmm hmm
what's up?
yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm kind of excited about this Mental Health Monday. Like I said, I don't care if there's just two people in here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how many views or how many people are in my life. I don't care. I think you guys probably know me well enough that I'm not out here going to show my ass on my Instagram. I'm not going to, post pictures of me nude. I'm not going to post pictures of me in my underwear. I'm not going to do those
Wait,
things.
what? So what was your OnlyFans?
Right. Yeah. No, thank you. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I'm not that person. I'm not going to be that. I will never be that.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm here, there is, if, like I said, if there's only two people and I'm helping those two people, then I did what I came to do.
Yeah.
So that's like, I only see that there's like 17 people kind of hanging around, and that's great. Hopefully those 17 people are getting something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. If they're sitting here trolling and looking for something that I've said, fine, whatever, go for it. That's on you. But I'm here to help someone.
Right.
So that's why I'm here. So I think this will be good. This will be a space for people to let's just hash it out,
Yeah. I think it's great. I really do. It's, and so for me, if you're going to do this, make sure bring people on like this that want to talk. Because
Oh yeah, that's why I even posted on my live. I think if you
yeah,
just come on live, this is going to be a safe space. I'll talk to you. I'll walk you through it.
yeah,
Whatever. I want to do that. I mean, I'm not a licensed counselor. I'm not anything other than just an ear for you to,
mm-hmm.
a sounding board. And more than anything, like even with my friends, all I need sometimes is not necessarily advice. Just let me talk it out. Let me talk it out, because I'm very much the type of person that just let things out at you. Let me just vent all this out. And I'm like, oh, that's it. I got it. I
Yeah.
understand now.
Yep.
So just let me talk. Just let me da 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 da, and eventually it'll come to me like, I got it. We're good. I feel better.
You saying that really reminded me, one of the things that me and my mom argue about a lot is I cannot stand for somebody to tell me you should do this, You should do
Ah,
that.
yep.
Don't tell me what to do.
I don't like that either.
That makes me so mad. Like, for one, you don't know the whole, even with my mom, like, you don't know the whole story. You've
Right.
only got the bits and pieces that I've chose to share with you.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's like the
Amen.
iceberg scenario. You got the tip, but you don't know what's underneath the water.
Exactly.
So
That's definitely important for people to remember, especially telling a story, or if they're telling a one-sided story, they're only telling yours and they're not giving the whole of the other.
mhm.
That's important. Super
Yes,
important.
and
You got to have the full story.
oh man, that makes me so mad. Well, you should do this. You should, Mom. Oh,
Yep.
I'm
Yeah,
glad she's
that's
not on here. I'm glad because I set her up with an Instagram last week when I was there.
oh, that's
So
awesome.
I'm really glad she's not on here because she'd be yelling in the comments right now.
Yeah, she's like, no one likes to be controlled. No, we don't like to be controlled, which is why I struggle with religion. Um, you should do this. You should do that.
That's funny. I'm not anymore, but I used to be a licensed pastor too. Yeah,
I can't. No,
yeah.
I'm
No,
not
I
great.
can't either
I struggle with
anymore.
that.
I turned away
Struggle.
from that.
Yeah, I struggle with that. It's mostly because I want to find my own way. Like, let me decide where I need to go. Let me figure it out on my own.
Hmm.
Maybe that's simply because I've always been an independent kid. Not a lot of people know a lot about me in my childhood, but it was not sunshine and roses at all.
Yeah.
You talk about your CPS kids. So, but yeah, so I've had to grow up very quickly. I
Hmm.
didn't have a choice. It was survival. And so when I've always had a problem with authority, and it pretty much comes from my childhood because I was the one in charge. I was the one having
Yeah.
to take care of these people and that. So when people would try to tell me what to do, I'm like, who are you? Where have you been? I don't know you. I'm pretty sure that I'm the one that's been cooking, and I'm pretty sure that I'm the one that makes the decisions, and I'm pretty sure that I'm running my own life. I've got this. I don't need you.
Right.
But with that said, that has stemmed so many other problems to where I have a hard time asking for help. I have a hard time with my mental health. Like, I'm fine. I had to be strong. I've got this. Do you know what I mean? Putting so
Hmm.
much pressure on yourself.
Absolutely.
So I understand that a lot of my issues stem from childhood.
If you're, it really is a problem if you're standing there and you have to tell yourself you're better than this. You're better than what you feel. Because just like you said, you're putting stress on yourself. And if you're feeling a certain way, then you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to feel any other way except for how you feel.
Right. Yeah.
And your job isn't to change how you feel, it's to accept how you feel.
Yes. To come to terms with it. Absolutely.
Yes.
Like, understand it. Understand why you're
Yeah.
feeling that way. That is what I am struggling with. Like, I don't, like, how I was telling you earlier that I was really good at being able to block memories out and
Yeah.
just, okay, my childhood, I can only break it in like little things at a time because it's just too much.
Yeah.
And so I have to just like, that's a whole other little box that sits in the very dark, deep, dark corners of my brain. And I can only like pick certain things out
Right.
because if not, it's overwhelming and I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know the problems that I've had with authority stem from that little black box over there. So,
Right. Well, knowing's half the battle.
yeah. It's just
Put
like,
it on the
I don't really
app.
want to open that box.
Now we just got to get you where you can learn to deal with the things, and it may come, it may not. Who knows? It may, but you can always be in a better place. But
Yep.
you always have to be happy where you are, no matter what.
Yes, and start small.
Start small.
Pammy says she wants to know, how do we trust again after being in such a controlling relationship?
You lock yourself in a room, cut all contact with people, you get rid of social media, you don't talk to nobody no more.
I mean, that's one way. That's one way.
No, don't do that.
Isolation, I mean,
What's that?
surround. This is what I did. I had to surround myself around people that I knew loved me. I had to surround myself with people that I knew were going to be those pillars for me so that I could crash and fall and cry it out, get it out, and then have them, slowly, like, you're beautiful, you're this, whatever. Because I've been in so many crazy relationships where they just made me feel this way about myself, or this way about myself, or this way about myself. And you really just have to start. Affirmations. Affirmations go so far. Start small. Start with people around that love you. Stay around them, and affirmations, and of course journal. Those are the things that helped me.
So for me, I'm a very cautious person. I'll talk to anybody, and like I said, we're from the same area. Everybody knows everybody, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I grew up. Where I'm from, there's literally less than 2,500 people in the town.
Oh wow.
It's
It's really
a
small.
really small town. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody's related.
Or related.
Everybody's always up in your business. So I don't trust people because I'm used to town gossip.
Oh, I know.
That's the kicking thing in Iuka, Mississippi, where I'm from, is town gossip. It's better than the newspaper. It comes out every Wednesday in the downtown by the Piggly Wiggly.
Yep.
And so, I don't trust people. I don't tell people a lot of things. So it really takes me a lot to be able to hey, let me put myself out there. Because anybody that talks to me straight out, just stranger coming in, trying to make a new friend type deal, they're only going to get little bits and pieces of me until I see that, okay, you're good.
You're cool. Yeah. That's the way I feel too. That Miranda Lambert has a great song that kind of goes with this. It's called Famous in a Small Town. And it's exactly what you're talking about. Everybody's famous, whether you miss church on Sunday morning or you're in jail.
Yep.
They know about it. And circles are small. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, Pammy Ford. So you really just have to, for what I have learned and what works for me is, okay, I can talk to everybody, but I'm more of the fly on the wall until I get to know you. I'll talk to you, we can laugh, we can joke, but until I see how you interact with somebody else and what you've done to them, and then are you talking to them, finding out their secrets, now you're coming to me and telling me stuff.
That's two-faced.
No. Yeah.
That's two-faced. And I've ran into that recently. And nope, not about that life. I'll tell you right now. No, either you're going to be a friend or you're going to be a friend, and that just shows your character, and I'm not about it. I can't do that. And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't like two-faced. That's not cool. Just straight up, that's not cool.
It isn't. It's not. I mean, it just shows who you are. Integrity is a lot to me. It took me a very long time to understand what integrity was. And I realized quickly, oh, that's something that I definitely have, and didn't realize that I had. Because, I've had some instances with people in the past, and even, like I said, here recently, and these people don't have it. And I didn't realize, I thought that it was loyalty that it was, that I was looking for. No, it's integrity.
Well, Ollie, if it's okay with you, I want to put out some of our first conversations, talk about.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So, when, after you did that first, I call it your coming back live, because that's kind of when you hit the scene again.
Yeah.
After you did that and I messaged you, we kind of talked on for just a minute, and then you just ride out with it. So I know you're friends with Jeffrey and this and that, and I was like, but I've never made any bones about it. I am friends with Jeffrey. He's been good to me. And I told you, just because I'm friends with him doesn't mean I can't make a new friend.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to bridge any gaps. I'm not looking to report back to anybody. It's just at that time, I think we've kind of moved past the interview YouTube crap. But, I call my own stuff crap. That's great, ain't it? But
You're fine.
you know what I mean. But you know, like I'm not trying to cause any drama, and so you were kind of like me in that aspect. Like, okay, I'll check you out. Like, you have my attention, but
Well,
let
I wanted to be very transparent.
right.
I wanted to be very transparent. Like, look, and that's just, I am a very straightforward person when it comes to certain things. And I was like, look, I know I wanted it out there. It was an elephant in the room, in my opinion. I was like, look, I know you're friends with Jeffrey. So, if that's going to be an issue, then, whatever. But just know that's just where I was. I think, you probably know me well enough now.
Yeah.
You understand that.
Yeah. Well, and I know a lot more of the stuff now, so I'm like, that's why she said it. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So,
I wasn't offended by it. I was actually kind of relieved because, like you said, it was an elephant in the room.
yeah.
Like, especially when I found out that you were mad at him. Like, you were mad at him. So, like, okay, well, I get it. I'm friends with him, so you want to protect yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had no problem with that. I totally got it.
That goes to, I am allowed, that's kind of the mental health too. I'm allowed to take care of myself. I'm allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to have emotions. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm allowed to write you off if I want to. I'm allowed to do those things.
Right.
I'm a person. Now, as long as I don't wallow there, then that, like I said, you can't stay in one spot for too long. Like, you can't just wallow and just, beat a dead horse. And I won't. But yes, I was like, no, this is not healthy for me right now. So that's why I had to take a break. Do I love him? Absolutely. I love him to death. 100%. Will I forgive him? Maybe.
Well,
but,
I can't comment on that because
no, I was being silly.
Yeah.
But,
I wasn't there. Like, I've heard about the situation, so I wasn't there, and I only know what you hear,
Yeah.
and so it's not the way I see it is not my business.
Right.
That's honestly the way it ain't.
Well, see, that goes to that, and goes to show your integrity, and I appreciate you being my friend too, without without me having to watch what I say. So I appreciate that.
No worries. I told you then. I like meeting new people. This room has got several people in here that I know. Holly, I didn't know you were in here. Hey, I know Holly. Hell, I met her this past weekend. Cass, I've talked to Cass, so I know her. I like talking to people.
Yeah, me too.
I just do. I don't know why. I don't really like people. I'll say it straight up.
That's the funny thing too, is like, sometimes I'm just like, my patients, I love talking to my patients. I absolutely love it. That's the greatest thing. And when I worked in the nursing homes and stuff like that, I loved hearing them. I just loved talking to them because I learned so much. So yeah, I understand what you mean.
Yeah. So, messaging you, I was like, well, if she'll message me back, okay, maybe get an interview or something for my YouTube channel, but it'd be cool to get to know her. Because at the time, all I'd known was Mary from TV.
I'm a person.
Right.
People forget that.
Right. And
so I had some family drama this weekend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So this kind of hurt my mental health a little bit. My sister-in-law doesn't like me.
Mine don't either.
But the thing is, like, I don't come around. This is probably kind of bad on me. I don't come around often because, I have a life and I live like an hour away from them, and, it's always hard to get down there. But this was the weekend that all my brothers got together, and they brought their wives, and this one that I've never met her. And if I have met her, I don't ever remember meeting her or ever really having conversations with her. She didn't even want to be a part of anywhere around me and sat in the living room because she doesn't like me. I'm like, you don't even have my phone number, so you don't even know me well enough to even have a problem with me. And
damn, it's like that.
That's the way that I feel. Yeah, if you have a problem with me and you don't have my phone number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem.
Well, But I mean, your sister, what did you do to?
I didn't do anything.
What
I
do
don't
you think
know.
you did? You
I
you
don't
don't
know.
know?
She wouldn't even talk to me.
You know what it was?
Uh-uh.
I know exactly what it was. I've seen this before.
What?
You didn't split that 90-day money with her.
My money's my money, and that's always been that way, even in relationships. My money is my money.
Yeah, I've learned that with my first marriage. Yeah, we had a joint bank account, whole deal, and some days I didn't even have money to eat at work when I was hungry. Uh, and
Mm.
now that will never ever happen
Uh-huh.
again,
Well,
ever.
see, that's where I got with it too. I got too comfortable in a relationship, and I was at home. He went out to the bar. He drained our bank account to the point that it was negative.
Mm.
And I go on Monday morning to pay our electricity bill, and guess what?
No
Like
money.
he spent like a shitload of money at the bar. I mean, like he wasn't drinking alone. There's no way he was drinking alone. Who the hell runs up $600 at a bar if you're drinking alone? Like who does that?
He wasn't even
Who
drinking with a friend. He was
who
drinking with the
does that?
freaking bar. Oh, sorry. He was
Well,
drinking
that's
with the
yeah,
freaking bar.
exactly. I'm like, you drained that much money? Like, how did you do that?
I'd grieve
How,
myself to death over $600.
I mean,
I'd kill my neighbor's cat if it'd get me $600. Like, I mean,
I mean, oh, so that was like paying. I would had to pay bills. Well, it was. They don't have here. They don't give you an extension. Like they don't. Well,
yeah, they
in
don't
that
here in
particular
Texas
county,
either.
they don't give you an extension. Now, some counties they will, but that one, no, you don't pay it. It's cut off. Like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Wow.
Now in Knox County, you can get as far behind as you want. I think 2 months, 2 or 3 months, something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
in that other county that I was living in, they don't play. So sure enough, I had my electricity turned off because I'm like, because at the time I was so anti credit card, and I was like, nope, I don't want credit cards. They're the devil. And I was just high and mighty with the whole credit card thing.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to call my ex husband. Do you know how awful that was
I
to
don't,
call my
but my
ex husband?
ex-wife has called me to borrow money before, so
Yeah, yeah.
I get
So,
his
uh huh.
angle of it, like, ha, ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha.
Oh yeah, he hated it. He's like, you had your electricity. I'm like, yeah. Well, here's why. It's not that didn't have the money. I thought that I had the money. It was gone. So I will never put myself in that situation ever again.
Well, I
Because
hear
not
you.
only did that affect me, I had to call my ex-husband because it was wintertime and like freaking cold, like cold, like 0 degree cold.
Yeah.
So I had to call him so he could come get my son so that I could, make sure he's taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to call and get the emergency put on, and they had it on in like 2 hours. But the amount of money to do the emergency is like $200 plus the electricity bill, and then plus the reconnection fee is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, oh my gosh, I'll never have that happen again. So when I say my money's my money, that's why.
Yep. Well, if I was there, I would high five you on that because
Like,
I'm with you on. And my ex-wife and this is, if y'all want to talk some mental health with me, here we go. I'm a perfect example of what not to do in a first marriage. Damn sure don't let your ex-wife control or your wife control all the money. You need to
mm-hmm.
have input in that
Yeah.
stuff. You need to know what bills are being paid where.
Yes,
See,
you do.
I was in the army at that time, so I was gone a lot. So
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, I need you to handle this, so because Uncle Sam says I got to go.
Yep.
And she would throw, like, we get our taxes back, right? And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, we were getting around $4,000 in taxes
Because of
back.
children. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'd say, okay, because for about 6 years, I was on this kick until I own my own house now, but like, I know I'm going to be retiring at some point. I want all that to go into a savings account, and that's going to be our house money,
Yeah.
And no, what she would do while I was gone, she'd throw parties for everybody in the unit, and they all think I'm cool with everything. They'd come over to the house and party and stuff like that, and I'd come home from being out in the field or on short deployment or something like that. There was nothing. The house is trashed, and you could tell like it wasn't just like somebody's
Oh
like
my.
somebody's just being messy in the house. No, you like something happened here. Like what?
It's
It looked
like
like
holes in the
man.
wall kind of thing.
No, no, no. Like
Oh,
just like food wrappers and stuff
I
everywhere,
gotcha.
dirty
Dang,
dishes piled up. Like yeah,
that's awful. Yeah,
yeah.
no, I'd be livid.
Oh, I
Like
was.
livid.
Oh, I was, man.
Like my daughter threw a party, and I was like, you know how they can try to clean up, but you just know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things just aren't in the right place, and just stuff
Mm-hmm.
isn't right.
You're like, something's wrong here.
Yeah, I used to say that I kept like a little mirror under. I didn't. Let me go ahead and preface this since we got 25 people in here now. But I used to say that I used to keep a little mirror under my pillow, and every morning I'd wake up and hold it under her nose and say, "There's always tomorrow."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's awful.
I woke up every day in a bad mood because I was saying, "Well, there's always
Yeah,
tomorrow."
I've been there too. Yeah, that's something else, man.
That's when we knew it was time for us to split.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the great thing is, the real great thing is like we have moved past that. We have 2 boys together, and we've moved past. She's my best friend now.
Mm-hmm.
She really is. I think the world of her. If she needed something,
Aww.
I'd help her. Oh my God, a mess, Mark. I am a mess, Holly. You should know you've been mad at me more times than I can count for stuff that I've said. Holly gets mad at me a lot, Mary. So.
Oh, that's fine. People get mad at me all the time. Have you seen my messages?
She's about to get mad at me for calling her out in the live for getting mad at me. No, I like Holly. She's a lot of fun. I love to tease her because she does get
relationships.
easy.
That's funny. Yeah. Relationships are hard. Even like friendships can be hard, you know.
Oh.
So that can be definitely a stressor. I tell you what. I want to say this real quick, and then we can kind of hop off because I need to eat.
Oh, okay.
But one thing, and maybe we need to write this down. We need to talk about love and how like love's more like a bell curve instead of like just constantly straight up, you know, on this constant incline.
Mm-hmm.
People fall in and out of love all the time, and I know someone fairly close to me that does that entirely too much, and you know, is always looking for that puppy love, and that always chasing that puppy love, and forgetting that there's so many cycles and so many other things when it comes to love, and I want to talk about that. So yeah, we'll keep that on the back burner for Mental Health Mondays.
Okay. That's actually a good one.
So yeah, because people tend to think they fall in and out of love, and they're like, oh, the sparks aren't there anymore. Really? Are you sure?
Yeah, they're there. They're just got to be fans. That's the thing about sparks. They're not a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Sparks, you know, there's old saying that they used to tell us in the Army, you take care of a fire when it's young, and it'll take care of you when it's old.
Yep.
And so, you know, those sparks, you have to make them into a fire, they need air. You have to do things.
Fan them.
Yeah.
You got it? Yep. You know, it's a work, and people are like, oh, it's so much work. Well, you know, what is that thing that your mama always said? Good things you work for or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to talk about that because that's something that I wish that they talked about this in high school or when kids are starting to date, like what love actually is, and how it works and the way that it's supposed to work, and you know, whatever. Or even my parents. Dang, your parents probably should have this conversation with you too. Like, it's not just all fun and games. It's not just whisking you off on a romantic weekend and there you go.
I don't believe in romantic love.
So really?
Yeah, I don't.
What?
Yeah, I believe in like my wife and everything. What? I believe in being romantic to her, but that romantic love is it's fake, in my opinion.
Huh? What? No, I'm really curious now. What do you mean?
So, so, so in my opinion, romantic love is just like a movie you're watching. It goes away. It's not. It doesn't always stay there. It doesn't create long, happy relationships. It's like a fantasy. That's what
Okay.
I mean.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. But this goes into, we'll have to save this for that. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say this. Like, you know how I was telling you about that bell curve?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go into that because that's part of this bell curve.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that. But yes, I understand what you're saying now.
Okay.
But okay, my burrito is waiting for me.
That is
Like,
bad for you. No, that is bad for you. Go get your ass a salad.
no, I want the burrito.
I want a damn burrito too, but I eat a salad while ago.
Well, you know, you can put anything in a burrito. I've got steak because I am iron deficient. A lot of people say red meat's terrible for you. Not always, okay? Red meat for me, I have to have red meat. Like I was a vegetarian for a very long time, and I was the most unhealthy person during that time. They're like, "Oh, you didn't do it right." Yes, I did. Trust me, yes, I did.
There's no such thing as a healthy vegetarian.
No comment, because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. But yes, so I have put steak in it. Then you can put. I don't put cheese because, trust me, you do not want to sleep in the same room with me if I've had dairy. Okay, it's awful. It's so bad. So bad. So I put rice and beans, and then you can put the meat in there, and then put a little, cabbage or lettuce or whatever little fruity things you want in there, and then wrap it in a low carb tortilla. You can eat that way. That's fine. You can totally do that, and it's healthy. You can do that.
But here's the thing: my wife is Mexican.
Oh,
I can't do that because she's going to wrap it in a tortilla, and she's going to have the carne and the. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's so funny.
Yeah, my wife is Mexican, so she's going to fix a full-on Mexican fiesta-style feast, and it's going to be me sitting here going, I hate my life. I'm trying to make myself better. And
That's funny.
then she'll pile up the plate with like 75 pounds of meat and go, no, it's healthy for you.
It's healthy. Yeah. Everything in moderation. That's true. So Holly said anemia is no joke. So, we're talking about mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Anemia can put you on your ass in a heartbeat. It kills your energy levels, which makes you feel tired and sluggish, and then you don't get your things done, and then that messes with your mental health. Anemia is no joke. You're correct. So your health is definitely something that you need to look at, when you're struggling with mental health too. It's like, am I depressed, or am I just iron deficient, or am I just, have a thyroid problem? So your health and mental health go hand in hand.
That's very true.
So, all right, Morph, well, thank you so much for hopping on with me. Let's definitely talk about the Medea thing on Monday, which is awesome because it's an M, so it's Mary Morph and Medea for Mental Health Monday. So we'll do that, okay?
That sounds good.
I'm hungry, so I'm going to pop off.
Okay, go eat.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Bye.
All right, bye.